Once you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, cool. So I just want to show you one thing. Like from ONTAP 9.5 onwards, okay, they have introduced a feature. By using that feature, what we can do, we can convert our ADP to ADP disks into non-ADP and non-ADP disks into ADP. But the thing is, if the cluster has full non-ADP drives, then we'll be not able to do it on our own. We can do it, but in order to do that, we need to reinitialize the entire cluster. Like you need to install a new ONTAP operating system, and there is a big procedure which is not required actually, which is not recommended by NetApp. But for example, let me show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay. Okay, I'm connecting to both the labs. So Akila, don't open it from your end. Why I'm not able to? Okay, so which lab we connected? I need the cluster setup lab.
Annaya?
Did you configure cluster?
Annaya, please open my lab, Annaya. From yesterday onwards, it is not.
No, did she configure cluster, Akila?
Yes, Annaya. Yes,
Okay,
Annaya.
then I'll use this. Okay. So normally, what is the command to check the spare drives? Aggr show hyphen spare hyphen disks, right? So if you run this command, you'll get all the spare drive details. And you know that, right? These all are partition drives. That is the reason you'll be able to see 1.24 disk here as well as here, because data 1 partition and root partition owned by node 1 and data 2 partition is owned by node 2. And if you notice here, there are couple of drives which are showing separately. Why? Because I have two disks which are not partitioned. Um, I have 24 disks which are already partitioned, but I have two disks where these two disks are not partitioned. What we can do, one more thing is, we cannot combine partitioned and non-partitioned like ADP or non-ADP, ADP and non-ADP drives in a single storage pool. It is we cannot do that. Okay, so what we need to do, either you have to create a new storage pool with non-ADP drives, or you need to convert them to ADP. Okay, but I have only two drives, right? I cannot create a storage pool with two drives. Even if it is a RAID 4, I need minimum of 3 disks, right? So what I'm going to do, I'll show you how to convert these non-ADP disks into ADP. I'll show you. Let me show you. Let me go to diagnostic mode so that I can show you. Storage, sorry, disk partition show. Disk partition. And this command, it will show us, right? All the disks. I mean, what are ADP disks and all, it will show us. Okay, and if you run disk show and provide these details, it is showing as a normal disk. And even in the spare pool command itself, we can notice that here it is showing like a data usable, root usable and all. But here it is showing as a single disk, just usable. That's it. It is not dividing them as a local data usable, root usable like that. Okay. So now let me show you how to convert these disks into ADP drives. Okay. There is a command called, let me come back to admin mode again. Disk forgot the command. Go to advanced mode. I think we need to go to advanced mode. Forgot all these things. Yeah, disk. You need to enter into diagnostic mode. Okay, in order to do that, disk create partition. Okay. Now source disk. Source disk means nothing but which disk you want to take as a reference. Okay, which disk you want to take as a reference. So here I'll just take 24. Okay, so what it will do, I'm going to convert my non-ADP disk, which is 1.6 and 1.7 into ADP by using 1.24 as example, so that whatever the configurations that were there on 1.24, the same kind of ADP configurations will be applicable to 1.6 and 1.7 as well. Okay, that is how we need to do. Okay, that's it. Hit enter. Oh, okay. One more thing, guys. Just run disk show command and enter this disk number 1.6. And if you enter that, see, um, it is showing node 2, right? So whenever you are converting this disk into ADP, you need to select a disk which is owned by the same controller. Okay, which is owned by the same controller. So disk show hyphen fields is type home. Okay, and pick a disk which is owned by controller 2. So I'm picking 1.15 now. It should work now. Okay, it should work. See, so what I'm doing is, let me explain it again. I'm converting this disk. This is a non-ADP disk. I'm converting it into ADP. That means partition disk. And I'm taking this disk as an example, reference to the disk. So this disk, however, whatever the ADP configurations, okay, on top of this disk, the same kind of configurations will be applied to my non-ADP disk as well. See here, that is the reason here my 1.6 is again dividing into 3 partitions, one root partition and 2 data partitions. Okay, if you say yes, then it will be converted into a non-ADP, sorry, ADP drive. Okay, same, let me, okay, before doing it to 1.7, let me show you. Let me run this command again. See, 1.6, I'm not able to see it in a separate section. I'm able to see 1.6 here only. See, 1.6 is now part of ADP drives. See, 1.6. Data 1 partition assigned here, and data 2 and root partitions are owned by my controller 2. Okay, so let me do the same for 1.7 as well. Okay, I'm able to see. See, I don't see any separate section because I don't have any non-ADP drives. All the drives what I have are ADP only. That is the reason I don't have any separate section for non-ADP drives. See, I'm able to see 1.7 as well here, 1.7 here as well. Data 1 partition assigned to controller 1 and data 2 partition and root partition assigned to controller 2. Okay. Any questions, guys? Or do you want me to repeat it again? I mean, I cannot undo it. I can explain you, like if you have any confusion.
No, no, Naveen, I'm good.
Zubair, is it clear, sir? Have you gone through previous videos?
No, sir, I'm not keeping well, so I'll just go through it.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the disks and the disk ownership and all, ADP and non-ADP. Now let's start a new and very important topic, which we'll call it as aggregate. Aggregate. So aggregate, what is aggregate actually? Aggregate means nothing but our storage pool only. So far we are calling it as a storage pool, right? Storage pool means nothing but we are combining small hard drives and creating a pool. That is what we are calling it as a storage pool so far. And we have root storage pool and we have data storage pool. Aggregate also a same thing, but NetApp named it as a aggregate. Okay, NetApp in NetApp storage, we'll call it as a aggregate. Okay, aggregate means nothing but a storage pool only. Now I'll tell you the definition. Okay, just a second, guys. Sorry. So aggregate is a large logical pool that will be created with all physical disks along with RAID protection. Okay, this is not a book definition. This is my own definition. Like someone asked you what is aggregate, you can tell this. Okay, tell this statement. So nothing. What we are doing here, like I have small drives. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just combining all of them together and I'm creating a large logical pool. And while creating this pool, I'm applying the RAID protection as well. Is it a RAID 4 or RAID DP or RAID TEC, whatever it is I want, I'm applying that RAID protection as well. That is what I have stated here. Okay, aggregate is a logical pool that will be created with created with physical drives. Okay, along with RAID protection, or that will be created by combining physical drives along with RAID protection. Okay, now let's see how we can create a aggregate. So whenever you are creating aggregate, okay, whenever you are creating aggregate, we need to consider two things. First one is RAID type. You know that RAID type. Is it a RAID 4 or RAID DP or RAID TEC? Okay, so based on that, the things will change. Okay, and second thing is RAID group size. Okay, RAID group size. So let's see how these two will impact our aggregate. Okay, Now what I'm going to do, okay, let's assume that I have 10 disks. Okay, I have 10 disks. Okay, 10 disks. Now what I want to do, I want to create an aggregate with these 10 disks. And here I've selected my write type as, okay, I've selected my write type as write DP, and write group size as RGS. I'm just keeping it in shortcut RG or RGS. Okay, write group size as 5. Okay, then what it will do, okay, it it will create a aggregate. Okay, but as I mentioned, write group size as 5. Okay, it will group 5 disks. Okay, it will group all 5 disks only into a group. It will keep the 5 disks into a group. That means nothing but, so it will take first 5 disks and it will create them as, okay, it will create a write group called RG0. Okay, RG0, and in this write group we'll be having one parity, one D parity, because this is a write DP, right? In write DP we'll be having parity and D parity. Okay, and data, data, and data. Okay, same way it is going to create another write group with remaining 5 disks. Okay, and it will name the write group as RG1, and in this write group also we'll have parity, D parity, data, data, and data. Okay, so this is how the aggregate will be created if you proceeded with the write type write DP and write group size 5. Okay, let me take the same example, but here, okay, let me take the 10 disk example only. Okay, and this time let's assume that my write type is again write DP only, because that is the most used write type in NetApp, and write group size is 10 this time. Okay, create an aggregate, and this time we don't need to create, I mean, on tap no need to create a multiple write groups, because we are creating aggregate with only 10 disks, and our write group is also 10. So what it is going to do is going to create a single write group this time. Okay, and it will name the write group as RG0, and we'll be having one parity, one D parity, and remaining all are, I'm just typing it as D. D means data. Okay, let's assume that D. Remaining all are data disks. Okay, so the write type, and write group size will impact the aggregate. Okay, will show effect on aggregate. Okay, is it clear? So then
Yeah.
how we can decide the write group size? Okay, for example, if you see here, out of 10 disks, okay, out of 10 disks, total how many disks I have? In the first example, I'm taking total 10 disks, right? Out of 10 disks, how many are going for parity? 4 disks, right? Because in write group 0, 2 disks, and write group 1, 2 disks. How many are for data? Only 6 disks. That means I can utilize only 6 disks, right? To copy my data, because parity disks contains parity and deparity contains only duplicate data, right? So I'm copying data to only 6 disks now. So here let's assume that all these are 2 TB drives, 2 TB, and into 10 disks. Total I should get like 20 TB. But yeah, I mean it will create an aggregate with that size. But here already 8 TB is going for parity. We cannot use the parity space that contains the duplicate data. So how much is the usable we are getting here? 6 into 2. Okay, and we'll get the usable capacity of only 12 TB out of 20 TB. Remaining 8 TB is going for parities and deparity. Okay, but in this scenario, how many disks we have? Again, same thing. I just took the same example so that I can show you the difference. 10 disks. Okay, and the parity 2 disks only, because everything is in a single write group, right? And data, I got 8 disks. So 8 into 2 TB. So total I'm getting like 16 TB. Okay, observe the difference, how much space we are getting. But only thing is, this example can afford 4 disk failures, right? Because 4 disk failures can be sustained in the first example. But when it comes to the second example, it can sustain from only 2 disk failures, right? Right? For example, here this disk got failed, this disk got failed, and this disk got failed, and this disk got failed. No problem, because I told you, right? Write DP can sustain 2 disk failures, not an issue. I don't have any data loss. But it is not like, for example, 3 disks failed in a single write group. Then we'll be having data loss in this write group. It's not like in a single write group it can support more than 2 disk failures. Not like that. I'm talking about entire aggregate. In entire aggregate, it can afford 4 disk failures, but in a single write group, it should be not more than 2 disks. Okay, did you got it? What I'm saying? So whenever you are creating an aggregate, these two things are very important, and you are the person who has to decide what is the right type and what is the right group size. Actually, not you. I mean, architect will be there. He will take the call. Okay, he'll create some standards for you. You need to follow the standards. Generally, if you are going in this path, you are wasting a lot of space, but I'm getting greater protection, right? 4 disk failures, it can afford 4 disk failures. So my data is much safer, right? But I'm losing a lot of space, and it will cost me because I'm wasting a lot of space. It costs me extra money. Okay, but in this scenario, I'm saving a lot of space, but my um, protection, what about the protection? My protection is less, right? So whenever you are creating aggregate, whenever you are thinking of creating aggregate, you need to balance the space as well as you need to balance the protection. I just took an example, this example here, just to show you like how things will work, how right group size and the right type will impact the things. But when it comes to, are you guys clear? If you are clear, then I'll take this slide out and I'll show. I need to create a new slide. Zubair sir, you clear? Or do you
Yes, sir.
want me
Yes,
to
sir. Yes.
one more time? Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. So whenever you are creating an aggregate in, yeah, any questions? Someone unmuted. Okay. Whenever you are creating an aggregate in real time, okay, you need to balance two things. Okay. One is protection, disk protection, and capacity, the amount of space will get, because uh, by running behind protection I cannot afford more than my budget, right? I have a budget and I need to accommodate everything in that budget only, right? So that is the reason whenever you are thinking of this, you need to balance it. Okay. So normally in real time, we'll be not creating aggregates with 10 disks or 5 disks. Frankly speaking, you'll be creating with hundreds of disks or minimum 20 or 30 disks. Okay. So what is the ideal write group size recommended by NetApp? Okay. The ideal write group size recommended by NetApp is like 19, okay, or 20 or 21. These three are the best sizes which will balance the protection, disk protection, and which will balance the capacity as well. Along with these things, even they will balance the performance. Even they'll balance the performance. Because why I'm talking about performance, for example, you have created a small write group size, aggregate with small write group size. Okay. Then whatever the data you are writing, it has to go to parity in the small write group side, so which will add delay in data writing. Okay. So creating a bigger write group size will improve the performance as well when you compare it with the aggregate with a smaller write group size. Okay. So whenever you are creating aggregate, just keep in mind you need to balance everything, but every scenario has a different story, right? Some requirements, okay, there are some requirements where I need to get more capacity. Okay. There you can go ahead with the higher write group size, like 28. 28 is the maximum write group size we can go. Okay. And minimum you already know. Minimum again 28 is maximum. That depends on the disk type. It will vary based on the disk type. Sorry, not disk size, disk type. For example, if you are using FCR ATA disk, still they are old, they are not available. But still, if you are using them, okay, then you cannot create a aggregate. I mean, write group with 28 disks. I think they can support maximum of 20 or something. I don't remember. In a single write group, you cannot add more than that in a single write group. Okay, you need to create a new write group. Okay, but minimum you already know. Minimum depends on the write type. It is a write DP or write 4. How many? What is the minimum? 3. Okay, if yours is a write DP, then what is the minimum? 5. If yours is a write TEC, then what is the minimum? 7. And maximum depends on the again write type and disk type. And there is an option called default. For example, if you have not selected anything, okay, while creating a write group, there is a default value which will be applied. I mean, there is a default value defined on tap that will be applied automatically to your aggregate as a write group size. Okay, did you got it? Any questions, guys? If you are good, then we'll jump into practicals. We'll create aggregates.
Yes, Navin, yeah.
Cool. No problem. If just go through the video, and if you are shy to ask questions in front of everyone, you can call me directly. Not a problem. Not an issue. If I'm free, I can tell you. Yeah, I can explain you. Okay. Now I told you, right? what are the disks we are going to use to create aggregate? The disks in the spare pool. If you find disks in a spare pool, that means they are free drives, unused disks. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create aggregate on node 1. Okay, these aggregates can be created on nodes only. Okay, but can be used on cluster level. Okay, these will be hosted on the node level, but can be used from all the nodes in the cluster. Okay, now what I'm going to do, aggr show. Okay, this is the command to check the existing aggregates on your cluster. Okay, so this is a shortcut command. What is the full command? If you don't remember, just hit tab. So I told you, right? Whatever the things related to storage will be there on a storage. Okay, will be there on storage. So type sto, hit tab, storage. I don't need a storage service. Why it is displaying? Because I'm in a diagnostic mode. Let me go to admin mode. In admin mode, it will display me only storage. Okay, storage. Hit tab. Here it will show you aggregate. Aggregate. Hit tab and show. That's it. Okay. The same command, both the commands will give us the same result, but this is a shortcut command, this is a full command. Okay, yeah. So here I have not created any aggregates, but why it is showing aggregates here? Because I told you, right, these are the root storage pools. That means root aggregates, which will store the controller configurations. Okay, which will store the controller configurations, and we don't deal with them, we do not disturb them. Okay, don't touch them. Okay, let's leave them as it is. If they are about to fill, then only what we'll do, only thing what we'll do is adding the root partitions to the aggregate. That's it. Okay, we don't do other than that. So aggr Akila, just delete this lab and create it one more time. Okay, after this class, because I'm creating everything, right? It is very difficult you to clean up. So yeah, just destroy
Yes,
this
yes,
lab and
Aneha.
create a new one.
Okay, okay.
aggr create hyphen aggregate. That means it is asking for the aggregate name. You can give whatever name you want, but here I just want to use aggr1 underscore cluster1 underscore 01. That means on cluster1 node 1, I'm creating an aggregate called aggr1. Just by seeing the name itself, I'll come to know, right? But if you want, you can put Naveen or Akila, whatever name you want. Okay. Now it is asking me for the discount. So, okay, you want to create an aggregate. How many disks you want to use? Actually, here we have two options. One is a disk count, where you can give just a number, or there is another option called a disk list. Here, you need to specify each and every disk individually. You need to specify disk IDs. Okay. Like if you want to pick the disks on your own, yeah, you can use a disk list. But why you want to do that? ONTAP has an intelligent mechanism which can pick the disks for you. Let's go with a disk count. I'll show you both actually. I'll create one on node 1 like this, and on node 2 I'll create a with a disk list. Okay, disk count. As I told you, I just want to create a aggregate with 5 disks only. Let's do that. Okay, 5 disks. And now, normally in AFF, you'll be having SSDs only, but when it comes to FAS, you might be having different types of drives, right? Different types of disks like SAS, SATA, FSAS, SSD, right? So you need to pick a disk type. Okay, here, but here this is a AFF all flash one. That's why I have only SSDs. Next, okay, I picked SSD. Maybe in SSD also, I might have different size of disks, right? I might be having 2 TB disks, 4 TB disks, 8 TB disks. So which one you want to pick? And one more thing, guys, in NetApp, it is not recommended to add different disk types into a single aggregate, and different disk sizes into sizes also into a single aggregate. Whenever you are creating aggregate, just select same disk type and same disk size as well. I'll tell you why. For example, I'm creating an aggregate, okay, with 5 disks. Let's assume that. Okay, I have 4 disks with 2 TB. Let's assume that all these are 2 TB disks. Okay, all these are 2 TBs, and I have another disk which is I don't have 4 TB, so I thought of creating. I mean, I don't have 2 TB, so I thought of adding a 4 TB disk. But what will happen is, like when you are mixing up the different disk sizes in a single aggregate, okay, it is going to cut off this 4 TB disk as well, and it will take only 2 TB from this disk. I mean, if you are adding single disk, I'm talking about. I mean, non-ADP. In ADP, it is normal only, but I'm talking about a non-ADP disks. Okay. So what it will do, it will think this disk has also a 2 TB, and it will start utilizing only 2 TB from this disk. Whatever the remaining 2 TB, that will be a waste. Okay. So that is the reason NetApp will not recommend you to mix different disk sizes and different disk types. At different disk types, what it will do, it will impact the performance of the aggregate. I mean, your aggregate performance will be not stable. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, even in ADP also, don't mix the different partitions, size partitions. Okay, based on the disk size only, you'll get the partition size, right? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I can specify here disk size also. Okay, disk size. You can give it in GBs. Okay, but as I have only one disk size across my cluster, I don't need to specify this option. I'm just leaving it. Next thing is, on top of which node you want to create. Do you want to create this aggregate on node 1 or node 2? If you select node 1, then it will take the 5 disks from node 1 spare pool and create aggregate. If you select node 2 here, then it will take 5 disks from node 2 aggregate and create aggregate. Okay, I just want to create it on node 1. Okay, next thing, yeah, next thing is very important thing. How can we forget that? Write type. So it is giving us, do you want to create it with write TC, write DP, or write 4? I want to go ahead with write DP. Okay, now uh, another important thing, max write size. This is an option which we can use to set write group size. Okay, here I just want to set my write group size as 5. Okay, that's it. Remaining options you don't need now. I'm going to discuss about them a little later. Okay, we have another option called simulate. If you set simulate to true, what it is going to do, it is not going to execute the command. It will just run the command, and it will show you the preview how your aggregate layout looks like. If you proceeded with this command, how your aggregate layout going to be. Just simulate means, okay, it will just give you a preview. That's it. See, it has not created aggregate. It is saying that, okay, your aggregate will be like this. It will take these 2 disks as a parity, and remaining, that is the reason it is not showing the sizes here, and these 3 disks as a data. Okay, and you will get total of 35.34 GB space of aggregate, the usable size I'm talking about, because you'll not get parity drives size, right? Parity contains the duplicate data. Okay, now if you want to execute the command, just remove the simulate and hit enter. That's it. It will create the aggregate. Even without simulate also, it is going as a preview. It will give us a preview how much you are getting and all. If you say yes, then only it will proceed and create aggregate. If you say no, it will cancel the command. I'm saying yes. See, now it is creating aggregate and completed. aggr show. See, I got new aggregate called aggr1 cluster101, which is total size of my aggregate is 33.45, and usable also, I mean available also 33, because I have not created any partitions on top of this aggregate, right? how many partitions are there, what is the status. It should be online all time, and it should be normal all time, and it will show you the right type as well. Okay, all the details it will show you here. Any questions on aggregate creation? Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another aggregate, aggr create on node 2 this time. Okay, aggregate name aggr1 underscore cluster1 underscore 02. That means I'm creating agar1 on node 2. By seeing the name itself, I can tell that. Okay, now I'll select a disk list option. So whenever you are selecting a disk list, better to mention the node first. Okay, then it will show you the disks from that particular node only. If you don't put the node first, and if you select the disk list, then there are chances that it might display node 1 disks as well. Okay, so better to put the node 1 whenever you want to select a disk list option. Okay, now disk list, yeah, I want to use 1.1 comma 1.2 comma 1.3 comma 1.4. This time also I'm just creating it with only um, 5 disks, disaggregate as well. Okay, just you need to mention all the disk IDs with comma. Next thing is you must specify the right type. If you don't specify the right type, then it will take DP as a default one. Okay, let me do that. I'm not going to specify anything. I don't want to specify right group size. I don't want to specify right type. Let's see what kind of aggregate it is going to create. And the disk type and the disk size options will be not applicable here, because you are selecting disks manually on your own. So that is the reason disk type and the disk size options, you will not get them here. See, I'm not able to see them here. Okay, yeah, let's proceed and create aggregate. So again, same thing it is showing a preview. Yes, proceed, yes, enter. See, it created another aggregate called aggr1 cluster102. Okay, now let's notice the difference in write type, and as I told you, it will take a DP as a default one. In ONTAP will select DP as a default aggregate write type for every aggregate if you don't mention it. Okay, and what about the write group size? Let's see what is the write group size we got on agar2, because we have not mentioned it here. Okay. You know the command fields, right? By seeing the fields command, by running the fields command, we'll come to know. We can get the specific output, right? So just after fields, hit tab. So what we want now, I just want to see the write group size, right? What is the option to see the write group size? Max write size. That is the option. Okay, max write size. You'll be able to see it somewhere here in the list. Yeah, max write size. Okay, that's it. Hit enter. So now it will show you only aggregate name and write group size. See, so 24 is the default size for SSD. If you don't mention write group size, it will create an aggregate with 24 write group size. Even my write group size is 24. I can create it with lesser disks. I created it with only 5 disks, right? Okay, this is how. Any questions, guys, so far?
Yeah, Navin, like when we are creating the aggregate in cluster 2, if we don't mention those disks, it will take default, or we need to mandatory mention those disk number, like disk IDs.
I told you, right? If you want, you can use a disk count option as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Disk list as well. In
yeah.
disk
Okay,
list, you need to specify the IDs. But whenever
okay,
you are using a disk count,
okay.
there Along with disk count, you need to use the disk type and disk size options.
Okay.
You got it right?
Yeah, I got it. Like, I think if you are mentioned for the cluster two, you mentioned here in the cluster two, like
No, node two, no, node two.
no,
I'm
node two, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, node two, you mentioned like a different disk IDs, like those
Yeah.
5 IDs, right? That's the reason I got doubt.
So
Like,
whenever you are listing the disks manually, you need to do it on your own. You need to check
okay,
check everything manually. Easy, whatever the IDs I'm entering, are they same disk type, same disk size or not? We need to check all those things. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That should. Yeah.
yeah, and one more is like you hit for the disk list, right? Before entering the disk IDs to the
No,
aggregate,
no, no. I
you,
don't need to hit it actually. So just
for example,
whenever
can you
you
can
do
you
a tab,
go
yeah, yeah, yeah.
can you go
See,
to that command? Yeah.
just hit tab. It will give you everything, all the available. I mean,
Yeah.
spare drives on the pool. It will give
Yeah.
you automatically. Just hit tab only. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything in command line. Tab is very useful. Just
Yeah.
tab. That's it. Any other questions, guys?
Here, if you want to see the disk like size and everything, we
Those
need
things will
to.
be not visible here.
Oh,
So
okay.
for that, you need to run the spare pool command and
Disk.
check
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
here you'll get it, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions? Cool. So, and disk type and all, right? You'll come to know from here. Disk size, everything you'll come to know from here. Okay. So yeah. Next thing is uh, let's increase the size of aggregate. Okay. Now let's assume that my agar one size is about to full. It is 100% full. Now I need to increase the size of aggregate. In order to increase the size, what you need to do? You need to add the disks to it. Even whenever you are adding disks to the aggregate also, you need to consider the same things: write group size and write type, because then only you can check, right, do you have enough disks to uh, add to aggregate or not. And one more thing, along with these two things, whenever you're adding the thing, you need to check how many write groups are there in that aggregate, and do we have any room to add disks into existing write group or not, right? I mean, if I have a room to add the disks in the existing write group, instead of creating a new write group, I can put everything into the existing one, so that whatever I'm adding, that will become data only. Let me show you, let me explain you with a quick example. See, I have, let's assume that, let's take our example only now. Now I have created aggregate. Okay, this is my aggr1. Let's assume that. Now I created only with 5 disks, right? And here I mentioned the write group size also 5 only, right? So whenever this aggregate is full, whenever I'm trying to add the disk, I cannot add them to the existing write group, right? Because my write group size is full and already I have 5 disks here. So what I need to do? I need to create a new write group for sure. I cannot add them to the existing aggregate. So yeah, create a new write group. Again, minimum 5 disks, right? But if you want, you can create a 6 disk write group also. That is fine, right? Minimum I need 5 disks. That's it. But you cannot do that 6, because as I told you, you set the write group size as 5 only. That means maximum you can group 5 disks. That's it. Not more than that, right? Yeah. So that is the problem. Whenever so you need to, that is the reason you need to consider how many write groups are there, and do I have any free space in the existing write group. Now let's take our second example where I have created again aggregate with 5 disks, but this time the write group size is different, right? The write group size is RGS is 24 write group size. It already created a write group. I mean, everything is a single write group, right? Because I have room for 24. So normally it created a write group called RG0, but it created with only 5. But later when I'm adding this to this aggregate, instead of creating, I don't need to create a new aggregate. Sorry, new write group, because my write group size is 24, but I have only 5 disks. So I can add this to the existing write group only, right? So what I'm going to do, yeah, let's add everything to here. 5 more disks. Let's assume that. Yeah. So this is a 10 disk write group again. Later, if you want to add more disks, yeah, you can add up to 24. Once the my write RG0 is reached 24 limit, then I can't add this anymore. I need to create a new write group. Okay. What is the advantage? Whatever the disks, 5 disks you have added, all will become data disks only, right? Because my write group already has parity and deparity, right? So in a single write group, you'll be having only one parity and one deparity. Remaining whatever you have, all are data only, right? So earlier I have 3 data. So whatever the disks I have added recently, all of them will become data drives only. But here, as I am creating a new write group, each and every write group must have parity and deparity, and only I'll get 3 data drives. I have added 5 drives, but still I'm getting only 3 drive space, right? Because parity and deparity again duplicate data. But in the second scenario, I'm getting all 5 disk size to my aggregate as a data. So I can store data in all my 5 disks. You got it? You know, did you understand the difference?
Sir, at the whole, only 22 disks can be are available for storing the data, right?
Exactly, sir. Yeah, because one will go for parity and one will go for deparity. If you have added all 24 disks, then 22 disk size only available for data. Yeah. Here I have added 10 disks, right? So out of 10, 8 only available for data. But here only 6 available out of 10 because 2 write groups. So 2 parities and 2 deparities. If you added more disks, like for example, I want to add more disks again. I don't have any option. Again, I need to create a new aggregate. Sorry, new write group. Again, parity and deparity will go out of 5. 2 disks go for parity and deparity. I'll get only 3 again. But here, no problem. Whatever I'm adding till 24, everything will go to same write group. So this time I have added only 3. I'll get 3 disks as a data, right? I can add 1 also because I'm not creating a new write group. I'm adding the disk to the existing write group. When you are adding this to the existing write group, you can add 1 disk or 2 disks or 3 disks. But in order to create a new write group, you need minimum disks, which is a 5 or 7 or 4 or 3, depends on your write type. Got it? Okay. Do it practically now. So again, aggr tab. What command looks familiar to you to add the disk? So add disks, right? Add disks. So to which aggregate you want to add? Okay, see here it is displaying all the aggregate names. I want to add it to aggr1 node 1 aggregate. Okay. So here also again you have a disk count option or disk list option. I want to use disk count only. I don't want to stress myself. So let's use disk count option. How many you want to add? I want to add 5. Right. Let me. Okay, yeah. Let's add 5 only for now. And disk type. Whenever you use disk count, you need to mention the disk type and all. Okay, disk size. but disk size I'm not using here because all my disks are same size. So write type and all you cannot, I mean, it is not recommended to use the different write type. Okay. In entire aggregate, all write groups must be created in same write type. Okay. Must be created in same write type. So don't select write type option when you are adding the disks. Okay. Now write group size, write group option. So in write group option, we are getting three things. One is a new, one is all, one is RGX. So RGX means if you want to add disks to existing write group, then you need to select this option RG, and X, in the place of X, you need to provide the number to which write group you want to add. Okay. All means what it will do, it will go through all the write groups in the aggregate. Wherever it has a room to add this, it will add to all of them. Okay. New means it will create a new write group. But in our aggregate, agar one, in our first aggregate, we don't have any room, right? I have only one write group, which is size is 5, and it is already having 5 disks. So I don't have any option. I need to create a new write group. That's it. Okay. See, it is saying again. Okay. It is creating a new write group called RG1. And one more thing, guys, we can't set the name for write group. Okay, write group's name will be system default. First write group will be RG0, second write group will be RG1, RG2, RG3. It will be like that only. Okay. It is showing that, it is saying that, okay, I'm creating a new write group with 5 disks. Out of 5, again, 2 will go for parity, and only you'll get three data drives, and out of 3, you'll get by adding this 5 disks, you'll get this much amount of space added to your aggregate. Okay, I'm saying yes. Yeah, proceed. Now see, I got 66.90. Okay, let's do the same with agar 2, but you'll get more. Why? Because I'm adding 5 disks to the existing write group there. Yeah, let's do that. I'll use discount only. Okay, 5 and disk type. This is the write group. I want to add them to existing write group only because I know my existing write group has I can add up to 24 disks. I have only 5. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, I have mentioned 0 there instead of X. Okay, you need to mention the write group number there. That's it. Remaining things I don't need to mention. Yeah, hit enter. See the difference? All 5 will be adding as a data drives because I'm adding them to the same write group. Okay, I'll be getting 55 GB. In earlier scenario, how much space I got? 35, 33, right? So yeah, much impact the write group size and write type will show on aggregate. So that is the reason whenever you are creating aggregate, you need to analyze a lot before executing the commands, before creating the aggregate. You need to do your analysis. Okay. Creating aggregate is pretty easy, but analyzing the things is the main important part. Okay. Now see the difference. See my agar one size is same disk 10 disk 10 disk here on both aggregates, but write group size made the difference 66 89 23 GB extra. See now here the disks are in GBs like 12 GB disks. What if they are 4 TB or 8 TB disks? Will be very huge, right, in sizes. Let's assume that you got a 30 TB difference, right? Yeah. So any questions, guys? And one more thing, whenever you exhausted, just ask me to stop the session for the day. Like if it is heavy for you, yeah, we'll stop it and we'll do tomorrow. It's not like we need to take entire 1.5 hour. Okay. Shall I continue?
This is enough for us today. Like for me, I don't know like remaining because I will go for lab section and then
Yeah.
we'll
One more
see
one
the
more thing,
rest.
guys. Just practice the labs every day. Just it is better to practice the labs on the same day, so that then only you'll get doubts and all. If you practice them later, you'll be not able to understand anything. Okay, and we'll be uh, discussing about maybe future topics that time. So my recommendation is to practice every day. Okay, then let's stop it for today, and we'll complete the remaining aggregate will tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys. Have a nice day. And Gayatri, I'm going to give you the lab credentials separately. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Naveen.